of a cliff. Realize there must be more to life than this. Reaching for the stars, traveling so far, like a dragonfly. Just grab my hand from heaven sent with me tonight. I run away. We'll never forget the past, but what counts is our brand new start. Even if it hurts me or I get scared, just come take this risk now. We'll be prepared. I run away. I run away. Reaching for the stars, traveling so far, like a dragonfly. Keep your secrets there, keep them everywhere. Just you and I run away. I run away.
Breathe you in like oxygen. Oh, in an otherwise suffocating world, I'm reaching out for arms, I'm drowning in the open-ended love we're making, girl. Exhale the past, inhale a future that lasts. Change my heart, change my mind. For the last time, wanna believe in the life I've led. I don't wanna leave another word unsaid. You know my heart will follow you in tomorrow. In tomorrow. Shared my evidence you once really cared. I'm reaching for a hand to pull me up, up. One open to an everlasting love. Exhale the past, inhale the future that lasts. Change my heart, change my mind. For the last time, wanna believe in the life I've led. I don't wanna leave another word unsaid. You know my heart will follow you in tomorrow. In tomorrow.
Good evening. There'll be more cases of COVID-19 to come as the official word after a big jump in community cases linked to the latest COVID-19 outbreak. 21 new community cases were reported today, 18 in Auckland and 3 in Wellington. One of those reported yesterday, which takes the number of Wellington cases to 6. The overall number increasing to 51. The total active cases in the country, officials expecting that to rise. 21 of the 51 cases are confirmed, part of the Auckland cluster. The rest are still being investigated. Now, with more new locations of interest identified, more than 200 and counting, including 5 high schools and 2 universities, the number of close contacts in that cluster is expected to rocket to 10,000 by the end of today. We've got extensive coverage of this developing story again. The One News team live from across the country and across the Tasman. We begin tonight with Laura James and the latest from our biggest city.
Entertainment venues, universities, a bowling alley, a dentist. The ever-growing list of locations forcing huge numbers of people to isolate.
As at 10 o'clock this morning, 5,065 individual contacts had been identified, and we expect to have another 5,000 contacts by the end of today.
Among them, students at this Auckland Uni Hall, near where one has tested positive. This man, who wants to remain anonymous, concerned about how the university's managing the lockdown.
It seems a little in shambles.
Everyone's now confined to their rooms, only allowed out to go to the bathroom, where he says they can easily run into others.
It's quite concerning. It feels like they should have already had systems in place to be able to immediately jump in.
The positive case had eaten in the dining hall, where this student says there was a huge risk of the virus spreading.
You would have 3 or 4 bubbles go down at a time. We're talking 80 to 100 students in a small stairwell, all going down at once.
The university says there are 460 students isolating in halls.
We're working hard to ensure they stay safe in extraordinary circumstances. We have also advised students that a wellbeing team would contact them to check in and offer support.
All up, 6 places of education are tied up in this outbreak. That includes Royal Oak Intermediate students who catch the bus home to Onehunga.
The bus is the bus that our daughter catches home. So that's not the greatest, obviously. I'm a nurse, and my husband's also an essential worker. So now we're going, oh my goodness, how many people have we been in contact with?
Also worrying, their daughter lives with a lung condition.
Has had coughing and runny nose and sorry, I'm just looking at her while I talk to you.
The focus now is identifying close contacts.
The people they are contact tracing are at home. That is exactly what we need, because that means eventually our locations of interest will eventually start to decline.
And getting them tested quickly with dedicated pop-up sites.
We're telling them where to go so that we can rush them through in quicker time.
This one is for Northcote College contacts.
A lot of it just like word of mouth through other students, but now they've been sending out plenty of emails saying go get tested.
A message the whole country seems to be heeding.
Yes, and Laura is with us now. Kia ora, Laura. The queues for the testing stations are long, and there was a new testing record set yesterday.
Kia ora, Wendy. 41,000 tests were processed from across the country yesterday. 31,000 swabs were taken in Auckland. That's double the number of tests that were taken at the height of the August outbreak last year, and 7,000 more than were taken earlier this week in the last Auckland record. It's just what the government wants to see, although it is painful for those people who are waiting in long queues. 4 new pop-up testing sites have been set up to help with demand. And 14 sites are operating across Auckland all up.
And Laura, wastewater testing revealing traces of the virus just north of Auckland. What more can you tell us about that?
Yeah, COVID-19 has been strongly detected in Warkworth from samples taken on Tuesday. There are no cases in the area right now, so anyone who has been at a location of interest or who is symptomatic is urged to get a test. One of those new pop-up testing centres is in Warkworth at 77 Morrison Drive, and people are asked to call ahead before they turn up there. You can find that number online at the Ministry's website. Extra samples are being taken down in Warkworth and Smells Beach today and tomorrow, and these wastewater catchment areas are among 41 that scientists are now monitoring across the country.
All right, thanks for the update, Laura James. As we've mentioned, there are now a total of 6 cases of COVID in the capital, and some Wellington residents have been frustrated by the delay in releasing information. The new cases mean Wellington will now have a dedicated quarantine facility. Kristen Hall has more.
This Johnsonville supermarket linked to a COVID case ordered customers out mid-shop yesterday evening.
We heard something on the loudspeaker. We apologise. You're going to have to leave the supermarket, drop what you've got and just walk out.
New locations of interest announced today include a number of stops on State Highway 1 between Auckland and Wellington on Monday, and a flight an infected student took back home to the capital on Thursday. There are also 2 supermarkets, Pack and Save Kilburnie on Thursday and Countdown Newtown on Friday, and an Asian food store visited in Kilburnie on Thursday too. Half the Wellington hotspots are in Johnsonville, including the pharmacy and a sushi shop.
When we found that the Delta had not only gotten out of Auckland, but had gotten here, that was a real shock.
Also on high alert is Miramar, the home suburb of one of the cases, but with no locations of interest listed there so far. Locals say some elderly residents won't leave the house until they know more.
They're afraid to come out now that they've heard about that. One lady said, I won't come back to New World because of that. It's quite concerning.
If they don't know that, what do they do? Do they invade the Ministry of Health premises and say, we want to be tested? Or do they hang on? And that's a real dilemma.
It's not a matter of because someone lives in a suburb, that whole suburb somehow is problematic. It depends. It's all about where someone has been and at what time they've been there.
That's right.
Queues at testing centres were manageable today, although there were concerns about sanitation.
Things that I didn't realise is that you've got to be able to go to the toilet somewhere. Fortunately, there's some bush up there, so I went into the bush.
These Wellingtonians are hoping their vaccine doses will protect them and their community.
I've had one jab. I'm getting my next one next Saturday, so that feels better.
Stay safe. Make sure everyone else in the community stays safe.
Doing what they can with the scale of the capital's outbreak still to be revealed.
And Kristen's with us now from inner city Wellington. The capital outbreak prompting a dedicated quarantine facility. Kristen, what more can you tell us about that?
Kia ora, Wendy. That's right. We're here at the Grand Mercure Hotel in Wellington. It's one of 2 MIQ facilities here in the capital, and it looks out over the CBD. Up until now, it's been a regular MIQ facility, meaning it can house a small number of positive COVID cases in its dedicated quarantine wing, and then regular returnees who may not be COVID positive in the rest of the hotel. These new cases in Wellington, though, means that has all changed. The Grand Mercure behind me will now be a dedicated quarantine facility for positive cases, similar to what we have with the Jet Park facility in Auckland. Now, the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment says the returnees who were here have all left now, freeing up 32 rooms for cases that do need to be quarantined, although with 60 rooms that are out of action because of maintenance issues, we'll have to hope that those Wellington case numbers don't rise too high.
Okay, thanks for the update to Kristen Horn in Wellington. Ngā mihi. And those cases in the capital have sparked concerns about the length of time it's taking to get locations of interest up on the Ministry of Health website. This sometimes happens hours after people have been alerted via apps or emails. Political editor Jessica Much-Mackay joins us now live. Jess, there's a great sense of urgency around this outbreak. Why is it taking so long?
Well, the argument is that these people have just been told that they have tested positive for COVID-19, and it can sometimes take a couple of interviews before all of those details come out. Also, if they haven't been scanning properly, that can slow down the process as well. But there is growing frustration about this issue. To try and ease some of that frustration, the government has said today that they will look at releasing those places of interest at certain times during the day. So 3 or 4 times during the day, for example, to give give people some certainty. Now, this issue for the government is hitting quite close to home. The Prime Minister went to Auckland University on Tuesday, along with her Finance Minister Grant Robertson and her COVID-19 Response Minister Chris Hipkins. The details that have come out on the website from the university show some of the details and some of the times, but that hasn't made it onto the official Ministry of Health website yet. So the Prime Minister, along with those ministers, are waiting for those details to see if they have been impacted too.
And just a bit of a warning shot, Jacinda Ardern saying there is more to come.
Yeah, the message definitely came through strongly today that we haven't peaked yet, that we will see those number of cases rise each day and that is to be expected. We're not going to know exactly how successful this lockdown was until next week, and on Monday, Cabinet's going to decide whether we stay on in level 4.
Political editor Jessica Mutch-Mackay at Parliament, thank you. On to Australia now, where riot police and anti-lockdown protesters are tonight still playing a game of cat and mouse in two of this country's biggest cities. As these pictures from Melbourne and Sydney show, it was either locked down or be locked up. Clashes erupting with protesters and running battles with police. The demonstrations came on a day Victoria's daily cases jumped by more than 60 and New South Wales pushed past 800. Here's our Australia correspondent Andrew McFarlane.
Tensions running high on the streets of Sydney as police confront anti-lockdown demonstrators once